Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Apollo Show. I'm your host, Apollo, and I'm here with kickboxing legend, Jayden Eynaud. How you doing, mate?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for coming today.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Mate, no problem. Why don't you tell everyone who you are, what you've been up to the last 12 months or so?
What's going on in my life in the last probably year or so? Married a complete stranger on national TV, travelled around the world for a little bit, beating people up or getting beat up myself, either one of those. And yeah, pretty much everything in between has been going on.
Amazing. Mate, I've been following you on Instagram and I have seen it's been quite the adventure. So, mate, good for you.
Mate, there's been heaps going on and it's been certainly been a wild ride.
Definitely. Mate, how long have you been fighting for?
I started fighting, I had my first fight when I was 15. I'm 28 now, so about 13 years.
Yep. How long have you been doing it full-time professionally?
So first fight when I was 15, I turned professional at 17.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been doing professional ever since, about 11 years as a professional.
Wow.
So yeah, long time, and the body certainly starts to feel a bit old, but yeah.
Have you got many lingering injuries right now?
Well, touch wood, no. I don't really have any major ones, just the small little ones, fingers, toes, joints, things like that. But it's mostly just the pain of training every day rather than actual injuries.
It's almost like something that's just almost bound to happen. It's like tendonitis in your elbow if you're a powerlifter. It's just kind of part of the game.
It's going to happen. You're going to get sore. You're going to get little pains and sprains and niggles here, but that's just part of the sport, I guess.
Oh, definitely. When you're literally... So would you call yourself a kickboxer full-time? Is that your... More
or less. It's where the majority of my income comes from at the moment.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say full-time. Obviously, I've got little side hustles and a couple of little casual jobs here and there, businesses, but yeah, that's where majority of my money comes from.
Yep. Awesome. So, and do you have any fights coming up?
No fights planned at the moment. It's going to be a big year this year. At the moment, we're looking at Barcelona, Germany, USA again, Japan, maybe one or two fights here on the Gold Coast, but nothing set in stone at the moment. It's the start of the year, it's still pretty early on, so we haven't really got anything booked just yet.
Because you're the world champion of, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the leagues.
That's right, bro.
Please.
WMC world champion and WB world champion. So they're the two biggest sanctioning bodies in Muay Thai. So I've got both of those belts. Yep.
Mate, unreal. And you're a bit of a knockout artist. I don't see a lot of things going to decision for you.
No. Well, in the last 20 wins, I think 17 have been by knockout. Yep. So I'm either knocking them out or I'm getting knocked out. I'm not the smartest fighter, and I'm not probably the most technical, the most sharp, or anything like that. I'm not. But I've got power, and a lot of the times, if you just start swinging, that'll get you out. That'll get the job done.
Sometimes that's the Control-Alt-Delete.
Exactly, pretty much. That's just the hold down the power button, and eventually it's going to turn off.
Yeah, one of you are. Yeah, exactly. Have you had many knockouts yourself, where you get knocked out?
Yeah, probably 3 main ones that have come to mind. I've been TKO'd, but that's probably not actual lights out. Yep. 3 major knockouts in my career.
What's that like? I've actually never been completely... I've been rattled where I banged my head against the ground in rugby and I was pretty woozy. But I've never been here one moment and then waking up in a completely different scenario.
Never completely knocked out to sleep, thank God. Yep. But more or less on my back, wondering what the is going on, crawling around. Right. I've been like that. And that's a weird experience because you can't really focus on anything. You don't really know what happened. Right. So it's a bit of a weird experience, but it happens. It's part of the journey. You just got to accept and move on.
Absolutely.
It sucks though. No one likes winning. No one likes losing.
No one
everything,
likes losing.
Especially if you're a competitive person like myself, everything is about winning. Everything.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So,
and I guess in a sport like yours where it is just so do or die, it's important almost to have that all or nothing mentality, which you definitely have. And that's what I really respect about you on your social media.
100%.
Is that you're the hard-headed, just get it done, stop whinging about it and let's go.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an old school mentality. I don't really know where I got that from, but it's kind of what you need to have in fighting especially. It's kill or be killed. And that has kind of, that mindset is translated until everything else that I do outside the ring, whether it be business or relationships, it's kill or be killed. It's, do the work and stop complaining. Yep. Otherwise, just have fun being average in whatever it is you're trying to do.
Yep, absolutely. Well, there is a line in the sand where everyone has to make, either on their own or through people telling them to, put your chin up and just have a fucking go.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a line in the sand where you do have to, either it's, however you decide to do it, there's a time when you go, you know what, I just have to make this black and white and stop living in the grey area of what I'm doing,
There's no half-assing it. It's either give it everything, otherwise fucking stop whinging because you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. People don't like to hear that, though.
No, because people want to be told what they want to hear what they want people to tell them what they want to hear.
They want it to be easy. Yeah. I think that's what I came from, a personal training background, and what I had kind of deliberated at the end was that people who want to change are there because they want to change, and they'll see rapid change. And there's a lot of people who just
they don't want to do the work. People are fucking lazy nowadays, and that's the point. And you know what? Life is binary. Like, there's winners and there's losers. Yep. And the good thing is that you get to wake up every day and you get to choose which way you want to be. You can put your head down, you can do the fucking work, you can wake up early, you can train, you can eat the healthy food, you can work multiple jobs, you can give up a little bit of sleep and sacrifice, you can not go out with the mate, and you eventually become a winner, and succeed in all the things you want to do. Or you can be a fucking loser. You can wake up late, you can sleep in, you can do the bare minimum, only just pay your bills, you can skip the gym, you can eat shit food, you can be lazy and blow all your money and not save and not invest, and you're not going to become anyone. And honestly, it's a good thing, because for there to be winners, there also has to be losers. So you get to wake up every day and choose which one you want to be.
Choose to be a winner. Absolutely. No, mate, I'm totally with you. I think there is a I really like your kind of account. Like, there's like the David Goggins, there's the those style where they're just like, look, or the what's his name who does not Goggins, the other guy who does jiu-jitsu, big gorilla dude.
I haven't seen him.
Jocko Willink.
Yes.
You know him?
Yep, I've heard of him.
Yeah. So he just every morning will put a picture up of like just sweat drops all around a bunch of kettlebells.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I love that. Like,
it's good. So it's motivating. It gets you going.
Absolutely. What is up, people? Are you ready to elevate your health game? If so, then listen up. Introducing to you BLCKWAVE Supplements, your go-to destination for holistic supplements that cater to both men and women. Designed to optimize your entire system. Whether you're looking to enhance focus, libido support, or to revitalize your overall well-being, BLCKWAVE has got you covered. Head to their website, www.blckwave.com, and try their wide range of holistic supplements, ranging from their 2 flagship products, their cognitive support, Brain Force 1, designed to help skyrocket your focus as your productivity goes through the roof, and their male libido support supplement, Alpha Male, Male Enhancement, designed to help you unleash your inner beast. Ladies, do you also want to reignite some heat back into the relationship? Well, BLCKWAVE also offers horny goat weed to ignite your passion and help enhance your libido. And here's the cherry on top. Use my promo code WAVE20 at the checkout for an exclusive 20% off your purchase on the website. So what are you waiting for? Join the BLCKWAVE revolution today. Are you sick of scouring the hub looking for something authentic? Well, MyOF has exactly what you're looking for. Real girls having a real good time. Exclusive behind the scenes, 50% off your first month, and over 100 videos ready to watch on the feed as part of your subscription, with weekly new releases from both homegrown Australian talent and overseas professionals you know and love. It's an amateur's paradise. Go check out the website in my bio and follow the links to the Apollo Show X. Wanted to see me, myself, and my D? Same website in bio, but look for the Apollo Show Solo. Enjoy, guys. So you're currently doing mostly kickboxing,
Muay Thai,
and Muay Thai. Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
I particularly loved your knockout finish recently in Karate Combat, where you used a switch hook, where afterwards on social media you put the training for that same switch hook from previously on. It actually reminded me a lot of the Conor McGregor Aldo knockout, where he put his drilling of that in the warm-up area.
Just before the fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw that.
Was that something that you were planning to use? Like, you'd studied this guy and went, right, switch hook is what we need to drill? Or was that just one of the arsenal?
That wasn't something that we planned for that specific fight. It's just a trick that we use a lot, and I'll practice it in training on the pads and in sparring. And I've been training it with my coach for probably a year or so, every here and there. But yeah, I don't know why. We just chose that one in the lead up to that fight, and it wasn't until I went back and looked at all my training videos for that camp that we had practiced it a lot. We didn't intend to specifically use that technique in the fight, but I switch kicked him and it landed, and he sort of nodded his head as if to say, "Yeah, nice work, mate." Like, that got me. And then I just remember thinking, like, let me just try this and see if it works. And it worked.
Great.
So I was
Perfect.
like, yeah, it wasn't something that we planned, but it's something that we had practiced.
Love it. Well, you got to love when something you actually planned and practiced, well, at least practiced and drilled before comes off in a fight. You're like, well, this is why we're at practice.
Exactly.
This is why we go. It's why we do the 1,000 reps.
And it's almost just like muscle memory. It comes automatic.
In that kind of scenario where it's it might be a counter punch or something like that, it has to be natural. Like you need the reps.
You don't have time to necessarily think. It has to be instant, like natural reaction.
100%.
So,
do you plan on getting into the UFC? Is that on your kind of wild card for the future?
Yeah. Look, never say never, right? Like if the opportunity comes up, I'm obviously all about it. But with UFC, I started off with MMA. So when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, the first 4 or 5 years I was training and fighting in MMA, and I had 8 MMA fights. And I kind of got a little bit sick of it. I just got a little bit over the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu. As much as I love it, I just got a little bit sick of it. Had a Muay Thai fight, and in Muay Thai, like there was more opportunities to fight. There was more opportunities to travel. There was just a lot more going on in Muay Thai at the time. So I tried it and I stuck with it. I won't say never, but at the moment it's not on the cards.
Okay, cool. Do you do, like you said, you've gone away from the wrestling, you've gone away from the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Is that something that if you decided down the track to switch it back on, that you think you could pick up right away?
Yeah, 100%. It's like, it's something that's just so ingrained in you. The wrestling and the jiu-jitsu, it's not really something you can just forget. You kind of remember it. I've been practicing it over the years as well. I train in wrestling and train in jiu-jitsu every so often anyway, just not as much as I used to. So especially coming into looking at like karate combat, it's almost a hybrid between Muay Thai and MMA. So we're doing a little bit of wrestling training.
Are they allowed? I don't know the rules on groundwork with karate combat. I just see that they're doing a lot of stand-up.
You can take them down. You can't like double leg, but you can single leg, you can suplex, you can lock at the waist, and you can do all that kind of stuff to take them down. You can catch their kick and sweep them. But if it does go to the ground, you go to ground and pound. And as soon as the ground and pound stops, they stand you back up. So there's no jumping on top of them. There's no wrestling for position.
Right.
It's just if they go to the ground, you jump on with punches. And as soon as that stops, then they'll stand you back up, which is good.
So it's still all strikes. There's no way you
striking.
could do like a submission, like a standing guillotine or something like that.
But it's a really cool rule set because it cuts out a lot of the boring stuff that is in MMA. Like, when you see people wrestling around in jiu-jitsu and they're moving for position, like technically if you're a jiu-jitsu fighter, you like to watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, but for like 95% of the crowd who are watching, they want to see you punching them in the head or they want to see you stand up. So it's a cool little hybrid they've come up with karate combat. Like it keeps the action flowing and it keeps the crowd excited. You jump on top of them, you can kick them in the head with and down. And so yeah, it's a cool rule set. And then, as soon as the punching stops, as soon as the action stops, and, in other terms, as soon as the crowd gets bored, stand you back up, keep going.
For those who don't know, in karate combat, there is elevated, 45-degree walls.
Yeah.
What's the rules around those? Because, I don't really...
So if you're on your back or you're, wrestling on the wall, that's still classed as standing up. So if you could be on your back and someone could come in with a head kick to you...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even if you're on your back on the ground on the 45-degree angle, that's still classed as being standing up. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is a cool...
cool little concept.
Yeah, definitely. And when you go and do something like that, is that, what's the kind of go for you? Like, are you a contracted fighter? Is it paid? Or is it, just one of those things you do for the opportunity? Or...
No, that's same as all fights. They're all just paid individual contracts.
Yep.
For karate combat, we were looking at an exclusive 6-fight contract for them, but obviously I'd never fought their rules before and I didn't know whether or not I'm going to like it. So we said, all right, we'll come and we'll do 1 fight. And if that works out, then we'll talk about the 6-fight contract afterwards. So that's what we're kind of negotiating now.
So you're keen to go back?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I like the small gloves.
Yep.
I like fighting in them, especially when you got big power and you're used to fighting in big gloves and you go down to the small gloves.
Yep.
But yeah, just trying to work out all the ins and outs of the contracts at the moment and fights, this and that.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. Well, great to hear it all went well. And you got six more fights up there coming along. That'll be sick.
Yeah, possibly. We're just gonna see what happens at the moment. So, yeah.
Mate, I'm always impressed with how in shape you are, and which is impressive because there are people like Paddy
Batty.
Yeah, exactly. Pimblet.
Yeah, he gets real out of shape.
He gets proper out of shape. I enjoy an off season like any man.
Yeah,
but he gets after it. So I look at him as one side of the spectrum, and then I would look at you at the other side of the spectrum, who is still skin lean mid off season. So the question I have for you is, do you control your calories and food all the time? Because I originally would say like, oh, that guy like really controls his diet all the time. But then I saw a picture of you and your fucking dad, and I was like, this cunt's dad's 10% body fat, and he's like 65 years old.
Yeah, dad's 62 at the moment. Jacked and lean, like better abs than me.
So I'm curious, like, is that genetic?
Genetics, Look, how lean you are, how fast you burn fat, the metabolism, that is very genetically dictated, unfortunately. But fortunately, you know, I do have very good genetics. I had abs when I was like 6 years old. I remember I used to go to the school and like lift up my shirt and show the other kids like, look at this, look at this. And I'm like, what is this? You know, so especially things like abs, they're very genetically dictated.
Absolutely.
I'm fortunate enough that I can eat pretty much whatever.
Mind you, though, I don't ever see you just like being like pizza night, third night in a row.
Exactly.
Like, so you are looking after yourself. So I wouldn't say it's all genetic.
It's not all genetics. No, you got to put in a lot of hard work as well. Like if I was to stop training completely and I was just to eat food, of course I'd be out of shape. I'd still be in better shape than most, just purely because of genetics, but I wouldn't be in as good a shape as I am 95% of the time when you see me on social media. So
do you increase your food intake in the off season outside of camp? Like do you
used to?
Do you have a strength focus during like off season, or you know, like, and do you find that not putting yourself in a surplus affects your gains in the off season?
So it depends on who you are. Everything like is different for everybody depending on who you are as a person and as an athlete. For me personally, I cut a lot of weight for years, and I got so sick of that. You know, even outside of fight camp, you can't really enjoy yourself because you're worried about putting on weight. You know, it affects your metabolism and everything. So now, I've moved up to a weight division where I only really have to lose 2 or 3 kilos, and I can do that in an hour. So whether I'm in a camp or out of camp, I'm eating a lot, like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. It's mostly whole, unprocessed, nutritious food, high in protein. And I'm always trying to gain weight and get bigger, especially at the moment. I'm outside of camp, so I'm going through a big strength phase where I'm eating a lot of food, a lot of carbs, a lot of protein, lifting weights, and I'm trying to just get bigger. And then as we head into camp, 6 to 12 weeks out, we're working on that explosive, fight-specific strength movements to make that, you know, the heavy muscle that we put on, make it fast. So,
totally. Well, just listening to what you were saying there, it sounds like you may be inadvertently in a surplus.
Huge surplus.
Sorry, when you're when you're in an off season because you're not doing the extra cardio. Like you cut the literal 1,000 calorie workouts out like per day, and you put in there a 450 calorie squat workout. No matter how hard you squat, like you will never never burn as much as you doing a hard hit workout for 45 minutes in the same time frame when you're doing weights. But like that's probably why you're seeing like great gains, because you're still eating whole foods, the stuff your body likes, hitting your protein target, if not more, every day. And in a surplus enough because you're not doing like an extreme amount of exercise. Yeah,
that's the thing. And training outside of camp is pretty hard. But another thing that has to do with it, you know, apart from genetics and diet and nutrition, is how you treat your body when you're coming up. So from the ages of 13 to 21, when your body is going through puberty and it's having hormone changes and bone density changes and all your organs and everything is developing, your metabolism is developing, how you treat your body in those key areas from, say, 13 to 21 is so important as to how your body is going to develop. For me, from 13 to 21, I was in the gym, I was training, I was creating that, I guess, muscle memory, if you want to call it. I was setting my metabolism and, you know, my metabolic rate, how I gain muscle and everything. So I set it right. And the key is, during those years, your body is developing. So whatever you do is whatever it's going to set your body up for the rest of your life. So now it's really easy for me to put muscle on because my body has developed that way, because I wasn't out drinking, partying, doing drugs, you know, fucking my body that way and doing all the wrong things and you know, underage drinking and all that crap. And that is what ruins people's bodies. And when they get older, their body is just ruined and it doesn't know how to metabolize food properly, doesn't know how to put muscle on or recover. So that's another reason why I find it obviously a lot easier. It's not just the training and the food and the genetics. That has a huge part of it. People come up and they put so much crap in the body. They're not training. They're not sleeping a good, you know, sleep pattern, eating food, no training, then they're abusing.
As a dude as well, like during 13 to 21 is your peak testosterone production years. It's if you were like, I also got into weights. Like my mate had like one of those like multi-stackers, where it was like a chest press, a pull, a row,
does everything.
It does everything. But we had also like kettlebells for squats, whatever. Like I started doing like a bodybuilding program when I was 15 through to 21, and like honestly, like that, I felt like I was on. It was like I was on steroids because I literally went from a 60 kilo, 70 kilo boy to like a 100 kilo man. And I was like 16, 17 years old. Like, it's pretty crazy the growth you get when you first start lifting, isn't it?
And that's what sets your body for the rest of your life. And then people do all that. And then on top of that, some people they'll ruin their body again with steroids at like 17, 18. And they just completely their bodies, and by the time they're 25, 30, they can't really put muscle on, they can't really lose fat, they struggle to do everything.
Well, their natural testosterone production gets stifled because most of the time they're not doing it through a doctor, they do steroids like an idiot.
Black market,
they don't do the stuff afterwards you need to do to switch your system back on.
The post-cycle therapies, they don't do bloods, no nothing.
Dude,
and all of that is just going to ruin your body in your younger years.
We all have friends in like high school and like just after high school who did that, and like thank God I never like followed their lead.
Yeah, no.
Thank God.
So that's the thing. But probably one of the biggest keys is just to treat your body right when you're young. It makes it so much easier when you're older.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's actually such a hard thing to tell someone who is 13 to, I would say a dude from 13 to 28 who has like a good drive. It's hard to control that ego and to like get the message in.
Yeah, it is, especially when you're 13, 14 and you just, as a guy, you turn, you start to hit puberty, you start to get the sex drive, you start to get a bit of your testosterone and you start noticing girls, all your friends are going out on the weekend, they're going to parties, they're going on dates, they're, start to underage drinking, they start to discover drugs and girls and all that kind of crap. It's hard to miss out on that kind of stuff, and people have like this FOMO and they want to join in and do what everyone else is doing. It's like a sheep mentality. So, well, if they're doing it, I'm going to do it. But I never had that. When I was young, I saw everyone off doing that, and I was like, no, I got to go. I want to become world champion. I want to train. I want to fight. I want to get in shape. So that's what I'm going to do.
I love that.
So that's the hardest thing for people to understand, is just to stop following what everyone else is doing.
Absolutely. And it's hard when you're young because you think you need to be part of the crowd to be you don't realize, well, I didn't realize till much later that being an individual is much better than being part of the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like it when you're like 15 to 21 or whatever it is, you think that's really important. Yeah. You think you need to fit in, otherwise like life will be shit.
But these people that are around you, they might seem cool now, but like in 5-10 years, they're going to be nobodies. Going to be broke bums.
Do I know? Can I think of like 10? Can I think of 10 names in high school that I still am in contact with now?
Probably none. No. And like, just you don't want to stop trying to do what everyone else is doing just because it's cool at the time. Because in 5 or 10 years, what they're doing, all the drugs and alcohol, it's not going to be cool. They're just going to be behind. They're going to be broke bums.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely
pick something
right.
that you want to do, even if it's not cool at the time, and stick to it.
Yep, definitely. This episode brought to you by BLCKWAVE Supplements. Go to their website, www.blckwave.com, and get the best supplements known to man. How long is a training camp to prep for a fight for you?
Every fight's gonna be different. Some fights you might book 6 months in advance, and then the hard training usually ramps up 6 to 8 weeks out.
Yep.
For me anyway, I only do really 6 weeks. Some people do 10 or 12 weeks or more, but 6 to 12 weeks is good enough for me.
Yep.
Any longer than that, it kind of becomes drawn out. You get a little bit over it, and your excitement for the fight, which is super important, starts to become off the fight. So 6 to 8 weeks, I don't really need that much time any longer than that to get in shape, because I'm always 80, 90% ready. Yeah,
I was going to say, you wouldn't be someone who like, oh my God, I need 12. No. I need 12 because otherwise I won't be ready.
Yeah.
You're not Paddy the Baddie. Like, you're going to be, you lose like a couple of kilos and just do some intervals and good to go.
Yeah. So things like my first world title fight, that came on 2 weeks notice. And that was a big opportunity, but I was fortunate enough to be able to take that because I always stay in shape.
Yep, absolutely. That's the Yeah, I guess that is the benefit to staying in shape all the time.
Yeah.
If you get opportunities, you can seize them.
You just jump in them. Because unfortunately, with not just with fighting, but with anything, unfortunately, the biggest and best opportunities come at the worst times. And that's just how it is. And if you're not ready, you're not going to be able to take them.
Exactly right. The thing about opportunity is that this needs to be met with preparation.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a good saying.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So sports science has evolved a lot over the years. Like, how many people do you have in your training camp? And is there anyone you can think that you'd like to work with in the future?
People in my training camp, as in like training partners or coaches?
Training partners, coaches, companies you've used for certain things. I don't know.
In the way of trainers, we've got one main trainer who comes up with, he does all the booking the fights, he does the game plans, he studies the opponents, we talk about everything together and we work on different things. But then I've got 3 or 4 different pad holders who will hold pads for me, they'll push me. Then I've got a strength and conditioning coach. That's really it. Yep. There's not too many people. Yep. And they all play their main game. I've got probably 2 to 3, maybe 4 main sparring partners that we get good, hard, solid training and sparring in together. And then there's just everyone at the gym, that we're around. We all push each other. If I've got a fight on, everyone will be getting around me and pushing me. Yep. If someone else has got a fight, I'll get around them. So that's kind of what it's like, yeah. It's not too many people.
Yeah, good. Sweet. Makes it nice and easy, I guess. Like, like everyone knows their job and you just kind of go bang, bang, bang.
And it's kind of just on autopilot, which is good.
Do you have like a training, when you're doing training camp, do you go and get do you do a lot of the stuff on your own, or are you like literally working with these people one-on-one?
Every day we'll have a fighters class. That's for Muay Thai. So we'll go in, we'll run, we'll skip, we'll do pads together, we'll spar together, we'll clinch, we'll do everything. So the classes for Muay Thai, that's always together every day.
Yep.
And then you'll do a second session generally in the morning, and that'll be with, say, a strength and conditioning coach. And that'll be just one-on-one. He'll just be training just me one-on-one. Otherwise, I might come in, I might spar with someone one morning, I might do pad work with someone one morning. But it's every session is different, but it's mostly either one-on-one or you're in a class.
Cool. And do you do a lot of strength and conditioning matched with the specific fight stuff, or do you even do like your intervals as fight-specific exercise?
That goes through my strength and conditioning coach, Ian. So he's been coaching me for about 4 or 5 years now, and he comes up with everything. He writes the programs. He does the different strength phases, and I just have to do it. Yeah, I don't want to think too much because it's not really something. It's not really something I know much about either.
Yep.
I'm learning about it, but I just rock up. And all I have to do is train like a fucking machine. There's no guesswork. That's what he's good at. So he can just tell me what to do and I'll fucking do it.
Mate, that's. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Like, I'd much rather put my, like if I was in such a science-based sport like your own, like I would want people who are a lot smarter than me pretty much doing the experiment on me. I'd be like, cool, exactly. I'll put it in your hands. Because like, what am I going to do when I'm like dieting and from training?
Exactly.
And I'm having to like think about, writing my next training block. Like, get out of here. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Save that for the scientists.
You don't really have to think anything like that. That's what he's good at. And
absolutely.
When I started with him, we had good results, and we've got nothing but since. So we're just going to stick with it.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised, like people who like go in and kind of like just choose what they're going to do on the day, or like whatever's free, whatever's like available on the gym floor. Like, those people don't even understand until you've followed a structured strength conditioning program or structured bodybuilding program where you're literally writing the reps or writing how many seconds it took you to do so many meters, like, and then trying to improve on that every week, and then having a deload week and doing it all again. Like,
crazy.
They don't realize like the difference in performance and the changes you see compared to just like kind of fluffing around.
And I actually said that to my coach yesterday, actually. I said, because obviously I had my last fight mid-December, and then for like 3 or 4 weeks I just did my own thing in the strength gym. I had a bit of a deload. Then I'm just like, I'm going to enjoy my training. I've been in camp for months, so he didn't really give me any programs.
Which is nothing wrong with that. I think it's good to have that kind of holiday from structured training.
Just we're not doing structured training where you're so focused. Just I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to lift weights, I'm going to enjoy it. So I did that for about a month, and then I came back a couple of weeks ago, and I got back on a specific program that he wrote me, and the difference on how I feel and how sore I am and how challenging the work is friggin' chalk and cheese.
So much different.
Yeah, the stuff that he wrote for me was absolutely, I was sore the next day. It was crazy.
Well, it's because you're forcing progressive overload. Like you really are forcing it. Like sometimes, like when you just go in and go, oh, it's chest day today, I'm going to choose 3 random chest exercises. Sometimes you'll get progressive overload, but like this is like guaranteeing it happens for 6 out of 8 weeks or 7 out of 8 weeks, depending on your deload schedule.
It's nuts how much like having an actual trainer to write that shit out for you can make a difference. It's crazy.
And people out there are doing steroids and not even following a program at the time. Like it's crazy. It is crazy.
They don't even if you're going to do steroids, and I'm not someone who like I'm not pro or against it. Like, but if you're going to do that stuff,
do it right.
Again, have somebody there, have someone to do your bloods and your post-cycle therapy and to put you on the right dosages and everything. Don't just start putting needles in yourself and thinking that it's going to, gains. Like, that's not how it works. You're just going to your body long term.
I actually have a question in here. What are your thoughts on PEDs, and do you fight in federations that are fully tested, and is there a federation that isn't tested, similar to Pride back in the day where they'd write on the contract, we do not test you for steroids?
Nuts back then. But I'm both for and against steroids. It depends.
Oh, I want to see the biggest monster. Like, if there was a Pride today, like, is there a Pride today? Like, is there something similar? No. If there was something like that opened up, like if UFC just decided to open up UFC untested, like literally called it that, I would watch that over normal UFC.
Yeah, because it'd just be better fights.
You just see like literally monsters just attacking
killing each other.
Totally.
Yeah, but for me, my personal opinion on steroids, I'm not for or against it. It really depends on what context there is. There's some people that take steroids just to get huge. They don't know what they're doing. It fucks their organs, it fucks their bodies. They go out to the club, they staunching cunts, they're hitting their partners because they can't control their roid rage. So when we talk about steroids in that perspective, no, I'm against it. I don't think it's right. In combat sports, like you got these people, it just makes it completely uneven. You got someone who's on performance enhancing drugs going against someone who's natural. Again, I'm against steroids. But when it comes to things like, you
getting seriously injured, you could get killed in there, and if
it's dangerous.
And if they're on steroids, they should go to jail.
Yeah, 100% they should. Yeah. But then when you got things like bodybuilding, that's part of their sport. Against, I'll be pro steroids. You got things like, there's people that are working at the nightclubs that I used to work at, and they're working all night until 3 a.m. Then they're sleeping all day because they're so tired, and it ruined. They've got no sex drive, so their relationship goes to shit with their partner, and then they start to lose their hair. Then they can't get it up downstairs. Then they can't spend time with their kids because they're so tired. But then I've seen guys that have worked all night. They start taking a bit of TRT, a bit of this, a bit of that, and straight away they finish at 3 o'clock, 7 a.m. They're up. They're making the kids lunches. They're doing school runs. They're coming home. They're spending quality time with their wife. They've got the sex drive back. They can get an erection again. All this kind of stuff, and it gives them that quality of life back because they're fixing their relationship with their partners. It gives them back their sex drives, confidence. They get in shape physically. They're starting to fix their relationship with the kids. So in situations like that, I'm all for steroids. Because it does work wonders.
Testosterone replacement therapy is very different to like testing and cruising. So blasting and cruising, like where like you see the bodybuilders or just dudes in general who are just like got on and never got off. But it is amazing to see what TRT is doing to like people over 40.
Does great things.
Absolutely.
No, even over 30. Like if you're, I guess, unfortunate to have a low test. I know everyone claims, I want because I have low test, and most people are just talking.
Well, most people, they have bad habits. They're like, show me what you're eating. It's like straight cereals and dog shit. And then they're like, show me your sleep schedule. Like, I was texting my ex-girlfriend till like 1 a.m. And then,
no wonder your test is
exactly.
So it's there's good and bad to everything, and with steroids, even if it's TRT or not, like there's good and there's bad to it. So again, injuries. I know people who've had accidents in car crashes and they've needed it, and they're taking whatever steroids has just boosted up their recovery process. They're back at work. They're back doing the things that they love, and it can do really amazing things.
Yep, absolutely. I totally agree with you there. And I think like if you are going to use PEDs, it should be done in an ethical way. Like don't go taking like performance enhancing drugs when you're fighting someone, especially in combat sports.
Yeah, it's just unethical. Like, but a lot of the time, these like federations, it's written in the contract, we can test you, but they don't because it's so expensive to get USADA. That was going to be my next question. Like, what's the frequency? They just don't do it.
True.
It's very rarely, it's some contract, like a lot of contract it's written into, but a lot of the contracts it's not. You have a look at the guy I fought in Russia.
Do you suspect ever? Do you ever?
Yeah, you can see 100%. You can see like
so you're like looking over the ring and you're like, this kind of looks like he's juicy.
Well, I'll study my opponents for weeks before, and I'll have a look at them, and who's on it and who's not. And I got to a point now I don't give a fuck. I've been fighting these juice heads for years, and to be honest, it doesn't really give them that much of an advantage. So I just train. I just don't really give a f about
Probably
it.
similar to like when I used to play rugby against like Samoan dudes. You're like, if you can last the first like 10 minutes,
Yeah, then they gas out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I assume if you're on, but I mean, I'm also talking in a way of like steroids, where the muscle building steroids, like I'm sure they're also on EPO and all these things that make
I don't
their
even know what that
cardio.
is, but yeah.
So EPO is what was famously taken by Tour de France guy. What's his name? Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in blood doping. So what these guys what he was doing was taking a liter of his blood out and then waiting for his like body to create more blood and then re-injecting that blood back into his body, so it would give him double the red blood cells to transport oxygen. So
nuts. What, and you do that like in the lead up to a fight?
I think he would do. Well, I think he was doing that during the race. Like he would go.
How could you even test for that though? Because if it's your own blood, right?
Don't know. I think it's like hemoglobin levels, which is the red blood cells. Like I think it's just those levels they can tell. But I don't even know, dude. I think they got away with a lot of things for a long time before it was actually picked up.
Same with the UFC. Everyone was on gear back in the day.
Dude, Vitor Belfort, when he was huge, when he was like really like popping off, like dude, he was a monster.
Yeah.
And then like kind of just shrunk into a dad bod. Like the guys that you saw come off, you knew that they came off because they just became much smaller versions of what they were. Still dangerous as but just not the same.
Yeah, but
Not
I
the same.
in the way of steroids, I'm both for and against them. It just really depends on the scenario.
Do you take any supplements, like legal supplements?
Yeah, I'll take a few different things. I'll take zinc, obviously, because it's good for the male reproductive system, testosterone levels. It's good for focus and that kind of stuff. I feel great when I take zinc.
Do you take it? Like, do you take these things regularly, like every day?
Yep. I'll take zinc. I'll take magnesium. That's another really good one. Muscle spasms, all that kind of stuff. Just helps you relax you before bed. I just started taking like vitamin D and calcium and that kind of stuff that can help. But
vitamin
really,
D, big time.
Yeah. But
what about CBD oil and things like that? You deal with any of that?
Nah. Obviously, it's very borderline. It's like a bit of a grey area to try and get it in Australia, and the stuff that you do get, it's just I don't know. I've just feel very with it too much.
It's probably not even that. Like, it's one of those things where I don't know if they test you for marijuana in general. If they ever do test you, I wonder if that is something they test you for. Because maybe CBD does pop for that. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. You got CBD, you got THC, you got grey areas. Then you got like hemp. And it's like it's just a huge grey area.
Yep, of course. So may as well just stay away.
Yeah.
Cool. So you take like a magnesium, you take a zinc.
Those are the two.
Or anything like that?
Nah, those are the two main ones that I take. Is just zinc and magnesium, and I've found they've had a huge benefit to me. I only just started taking maybe 3 months ago.
Yep.
There's this one brand.
Creatine?
Yeah, take creatine. Yep. I find that's another really good supplement.
Yep.
But when it comes to zinc, like I think zinc's great for everything. I think most guys, like between the ages of like 20 to maybe 40, if you're training, you should be taking zinc. I just feel so much better when I take it. There's this one brand that I found, it just puts your sex drive through the roof.
What's it called? For research purposes.
Research purposes only. It's got Zinc Plus by Swiss.
Zinc Plus
it's a little yellow one, and I started taking that.
You take 2 a day, 2 every morning?
1 to 2 every day.
Yep. Okay.
And it just makes you into an energizer bunny.
Yeah, right.
It's nuts, and I've never felt like that before.
Wow.
And I got my mates onto it. I said, just try this supplement, try this brand, and just see how you go for a couple of weeks. And they tried it for a couple of weeks, and I didn't tell them about any of the effects. It's just I feel strong in the gym. Just take it. And they came back to like, yeah, but like
horny as
I feel really horny all the time. And I've had 2 mates say that to me, plus my brother.
All right. I'm going to get some.
You're going to have to get it on. They don't even sponsor me, so I've just given this huge rap for this brand.
That's right. You're welcome,
for absolutely nothing. So now I've translated all my supplements to Swiss.
Yeah,
ashwagandha, that's the other one I forgot.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's for sleep, right?
It's for sleep, but it can apparently have an effect on your testosterone levels. Apparently, I don't know, but I feel
increase them.
Apparently, yeah.
Great.
Maybe it's to do something with the sleep. I don't know, but I've taken it and I feel great.
Mate, honestly, anything you can take naturally that will naturally support and like your testosterone production.
You're trying to increase the human performance. So if you can do it naturally, do everything you can.
Do you do anything like in particular to get better sleep?
Sleep is honestly
the challenge.
That's my weak spot.
Everyone says sleep is steroids, and I'm like, well, I'm trying. trying.
See, for me, I cover every box: the diet, the nutrition, the hydration, the training. I cover every single box. But sleep is that one thing that I have a lot of room for improvement. I stay up late.
You also work as, people don't know, you work as a bouncer at like nightclubs and stuff.
I haven't done that in a very long time.
Oh, true.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
but I am involved in nightclubs still, and every so often, and I'll do night shifts, and that affects your sleeping pattern for the whole entire week, even if you only do it once or twice.
Oh,
and that,
awful.
Yeah, so that, and then obviously I have a mind that's just always thinking about this training, fighting, business. Oh, what's this doing?
Do you do anything like ice baths or meditation, things that actually take you down a gear like you really try and like when you're. I heard this saying a while ago. I used to apply it to holidays where it was, if you're plugged in, plug all the way in. If you're unplugged, pull that bitch all the way out.
So that's probably something that I need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mind's always just going. I'll be up late. I'll be on my phone. I'll be, this, that. So and especially when you got like, I got to be up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym and do PT. So that's one area that I'm trying to work on now. Trying to do like the whole no phones, no blue light. Be like an hour before bed and having like a dark space and trying to go to bed earlier. That's something I'm trying to do, but it's definitely something I need to keep working on.
I used to be a personal trainer, so getting up at like 3:30, 4 in the morning is kind of like my wheelhouse. I just naturally kind of open my eyes at 4:30, and that's kind of it's fine for me. So
it's even harder in the summer now, which we're in. So the sun comes up at like 4 a.m. So even on the days where you're trying to have a sleep in, you're kind of waking up at that time anyway.
Do you ever use a face mask to sleep?
Yes, I use those.
How good are they?
So good.
Right?
And earplugs.
Mate, earplugs is next level. Yeah. I don't know if I could sleep with something in my ears, but like definitely saw a huge difference when I had the eye patch on.
It's
in terms of like how long I could sleep in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you literally, you may as well be sleeping in a completely black, dark room. Yeah, which is, I think, for anyone out there who's really struggling with sleep, turning your room, whether you do it with a face mask where it's completely like blocks your vision, or whether you get like blackout curtains and things like that. But if you want to spend $7 and just get an eye mask, it's a lot cheaper.
Best investment,
honestly. Yeah.
So I've got earplugs because I live in like a place where there's like a lot of wildlife, and the birds go nuts at 4 or 5 in the morning. So if I'm trying to have a sleep in, eye mask, earplugs, and you will have such a good sleep.
You must be in such like, you say you're always ticking over. You must be on high alert even when you're sleeping, because like it sounds like you hear something or you get a bit of light. You're just like, bzzz.
Well, it came from obviously years ago when I was working in the nightclubs. I would come home at 4 a.m. and so there's cars going in the street and there's construction and this and that. So I would have to put earplugs in.
Well, plus your ears would probably be ringing from the, like if you had did you have earplugs? Did you used to have earplugs in while you were working?
Yeah, while I was working,
Have to, because like otherwise you get tinnitus.
So you come home and it's like you kind of, when you finish work, you come home and you're wearing it because it's like 4 or 5 in the morning that there's a lot of noise. So I put it in and then you become used to it. That's probably the downside to it. If you're wearing an eye mask and earplugs to sleep every night, it's great.
Until you forget them.
Yeah, until you forget them. If you stay at a mate's house like I did the other night, mate, no earplugs, no eye mask.
All night.
Yeah,
it's not good. Tell us about your training app, Fighter.
So Fighter is like an all-in-one Muay Thai and striking and kickboxing app, which I developed. So funny enough, I developed it with one of the cameramen from Married at First Sight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How random.
I know, a bit of a conflict of interest.
It's all right.
I met him on set at my wedding and we just hit it off.
Oh, classic. So you met him while you were filming for that?
Yeah. And he was a good dude, and he lived on the Gold Coast as well, and involved in Muay Thai. To be honest, I don't really know how I didn't know him. We had all the same friends and everything.
True.
Yeah.
So he had like the app already, like he was a developer, or like how does it work?
No, so he was a filmer. So he filmed, edited it. He's done producing before.
Oh, so you were like, I want to get this app going.
Yeah,
I need to get all these videos.
We did a whole heap of filming together, and then after the show, after we finished filming, we reached out to me. He's like, man, I want to do some PT sessions with you. I'm like, yeah, sweet, come to the gym. He just lived around the corner. So we started doing PT sessions together, and he's like, why don't you come up with an app? And I had already wanted to do that, and I had all the apps sort of written out. And he's like, yeah, well, let's do it. So we started filming, and we started putting all the content together, and he edited it and everything. And
great.
And yeah.
Perfect.
So the Fight, it's kind of like an all-in-one hub. There's 4 pillars to it. There's Muay Thai, strength and conditioning, nutrition, and mindset. So it's basically, it's a program at the moment.
4 pillars of what you need for success.
Exactly. And they can be applied to anything, especially for a fighter. So there's Muay Thai, it's all about techniques.
So is it geared
attack,
towards fighters, or are you gearing this focus also towards general pop who want to maybe just use the strength and conditioning portal or something like that?
It's strength and conditioning that is like, it's all fight-specific strength conditioning.
Gotcha.
And the nutrition is for athletes and fighters, and the mindset is the fight mindset. If you're somebody, even if you've never done any fight sports before, it'd be good for you because you learn how to to fight. It's fun. It's a new skill. It can save your life one day. It's a life-saving skill. It'll teach you how to have that fighter's mindset, how to not give a how to be focused and all that kind of stuff. So even if you're somebody who just wants to learn fighting and a bit of self-improvement, it'd be good for them because it has all in one.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like, I find a lot of people who get into fighting, like, although it is like it's very hard to do. Like, because you have like technique and there's it's more of a mind game as well as just being on a boring bike. You know what I mean? Like, you're thinking about what you're doing. Like, you're like, oh, the combo is jab, jab, hook, whatever. Like, it's actually you're having to go through and keep your mind active. Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people, even whether it's my online students or my in-person one-on-ones, they come to me and they're just like, I've been doing weights for years and I'm just over it. And they want to try this. And this will give you everything. Like, it'll teach you how to fight. It'll give you fight-specific strength and conditioning, which will make you faster, fitter, sharper. It'll give you that fighter's physique. You'll get jacked. It'll, teach you about nutrition. It's got nutrition resources and recipes on there. And it'll also give you a good mindset. There's mindset tips on, psychology and motivation and discipline and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of an all-in-one thing.
That's really cool because a lot of people, there's a lot of grey area with like, what's the right nutrition? What's the right way to eat? So it's really good just to have something that is there that says, this is how you're going to do it. This is the rules you're going to abide by.
Exactly.
Get amongst it. Like, I see that you use a meal service for your nutrition. Is that your company or is that someone that sponsors you?
It's not my company. It is a company that I'm working with, and that they do sponsor me. It's Papa Macros. I'll give them a little shout out.
Nice.
And but it is a company that I was eating already. Like, I was eating their meals even before they decided to come on board and have me as an ambassador. I've always eaten their stuff, because their delivery times, their ease of use for their app, for their website, everything aligned with me, and I like their meals, and they finally brought me on board, which is awesome. It's just, it saves so much time, and like, I don't have to shop, I don't have to clean and do dishes, I don't have to cook. So even if the meals were half as good as they were, I'd still buy them.
So here's the thing for anyone out there who's like, I can't get together with nutrition. Yeah. Like, now in 2025, it's the easiest it's ever been to eat to the macros you need. Yeah. Like, when I'm 37. You're what, 28?
28.
Like, when we were kids,
you're like 37, bro.
Can you believe it? I know.
No, I can't actually, but yeah.
Mate, we just live a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly, that's it.
Just reflection on my face. But like, when I was a kid, there was no such thing as frozen meals that weren't like TV dinners that were straight dog shit.
Crap.
There was literally, like, if you are someone who's like, let's just say, hypothetically, I'm a really lazy person who's like, I don't want to put any effort at all into my nutrition. I just want to hit my macros. Yeah. That's it. You could hypothetically go straight to the shops, get 2 of these Papa macro meals, get 2 of those, get 2 protein bars, a couple of bananas, and there might even be like some chopped carrots that are already pre-chopped in a bag with like some hummus. Snacks. You know what I mean? Like, and that would be you not having to cook, chop, microwave. Oh no, you only have to microwave the 2 meals, and that is it.
You don't even have to keep track of anything. Like, everything is done for you.
You scan barcodes, and that's pretty much it.
Exactly. Like, things are made because obviously the world we live in, everybody's lazy. They want to make things easy. And you don't even have to think. You get your meal delivered to your door, and even at that, like, even if you want to know about nutrition, you can literally, whatever you want to know to do with nutrition or to do with calories, weight loss, weight gain, anything you want to know is completely free on YouTube. So there's really no excuse for not being able to hit your goals and that kind of stuff. Like, things are made so easy for us now.
It's kind of an unprecedented time when it comes to getting absolute expert advice for free, because when I was a kid, I was a teenager, to go to see a top flight fitness guy about
hundreds,
to go to a seminar where it's like, world record powerlifter Lewis Simmons is doing a fucking 2-day strength and conditioning / seminar. It'd be like $800, and you'd have to fly to a main city to sit in this room to pick this guy's brain. Right now, I can look up 20, 30, 40, 100 videos from that same guy for free on YouTube. He's talking directly to the camera with 30 years experience. And you can do that with any industry. You could do that as an IT tech. You can listen to Steve Jobs do a 2-hour lecture at a university. Like you can, it's just amazing.
Yeah, you want to learn, like me and my brother are Googling how to make garden beds so we can make a veggie patch.
Perfect.
It's free.
Exactly.
It's
not
free,
rocket
man.
science.
You know, so there's no excuse not to be where you want to be, except for just pure laziness.
Agreed, mate. Agreed. Yeah. I think everyone who's able and capable, like you should be really putting your best foot forward when it comes to your health. Straight up, there is no excuse. You were on maths. Tell me how that came about. Like I didn't expect to see you on Married at First Sight.
How did it come about? Well, my brother was on it a couple of years before me.
Yep.
And then a couple of years later, I got approached for the show, and they said, like, do you want to do it? And I said, well, originally I got approached for another show, which is like, it was called Love Triangle. So it's where you get, like, I think 2 girls, and you'll have to talk to them both, and I think date them both and live with both of them at separate times, and then choose which one you want, or something to do with that. And I went through the interviewing process. They just said, oh, it's for this new show, and I didn't really know what it was. Got to the end of the interviewing process, and they said, yeah, you've been accepted. This is what the show is about. And when I heard what the show was about, I said, like, I don't really want to date 2 girls. I don't really want to around, because it sounds like a recipe for disaster.
That's drama. That's the point.
Exactly. And I said, honestly, it's not really for me. I don't really want to go on and have to have 2 girls, or you could be put with like a second dude and 1 girl who's like you competing with. I said, that's not me. Like if I want to around with multiple girls, I'll just go and live my life, you know, and just be a fuck boy. I said, I'm 28 or 26 at the time. If I'm going to go on a TV show, I'd rather find someone and see, be serious about it. So I said, oh, what about maths? They give you 1 person, you get married. And I said, well, yeah, like what I got to lose? Let's try it.
Do they match? Like I always thought like that they, for drama and TV purposes, like I'm sure you have to do like a personality test before you go in. All that
the interview and the application process is huge.
So I'm curious if they go, right, this person will annoy the out of this person. Let's put them together.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
I wonder if they do that.
I don't know. I don't go through. I don't do the casting process or the auditioning process. Or the interviews. Like I got no idea how they works at the end of the day. Obviously, you would assume that's what they do.
Anecdotally, did you find like on the show that a lot of the couples were mismatched?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like you have a look at them like any couple, and they say these people, like they're matched together. There's a lot of things they have in common, but there's also a lot of things they don't have in common. So it's kind of could be any area. Obviously, they have to make. It's a TV show. If there's no drama, if there's no arguments between the couple,
they have to fabricate it.
Yeah, if there's no mismatches, no one's going to watch it, right? There's a reason why it's the biggest TV show in Australia.
100%.
But
dude, chicks love it. Like it is. I don't know what the demographic is. I assume it's all chicks.
It's like 95% girls.
Because they will sprint home. They will make sure they're home for 7:30 on a Tuesday or whatever it is.
Crazy.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like they've hacked the female psyche.
They have. Well, it's a female show and it's made by females. Like all the producers are female.
Did you find anything came from that, like for you, like professionally for yourself, or did you just see like a huge jump in your social media, which was also probably exactly what you wanted?
Well, it was a huge jump in the social media, and you can obviously leverage that social media to do other things like brand deals and that kind of stuff. But apart from that, not really. as soon as the show finished, like filming, it's filmed like 3 or 4 months before it airs. As soon as I came away from filming, I came and I just got straight back to my normal life. It didn't really change me too much as a person. I came back to training, back to traveling and fighting and doing stuff around the world. It didn't really have too much of an impact on me. But you see these people that come off maths, they come off a reality TV show, and that's it. They're a maths person. They talk maths, they post maths, they caption maths, they drain it and milk it. That's all they've got.
I used to know a chick who literally... That's what she did for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't think like she ever really got away from that. It was just this girl from maths.
That's the thing. That maths then becomes their whole entire life. And really, because they go into the show and they've got nothing going for them, and when they come off, that's it. They're maths people now. That's all they have in their life. But eventually, the next season starts coming on, or the next reality TV show comes on, and that's it. Everyone's forgotten them, and they're back to being essentially a nobody. And they've got nothing going for them. And that is where a lot of mental health issues come in, because people get used to this lifestyle where you're in the limelight and everyone knows you walking down the street, but then people forget about you, and they develop all these depression, all these mental health issues because they were up here, now they're down here and back to where they were. So for me, I never let it get to my head. I went onto it, and as soon as I came off filming, I'm back to doing my normal things. I already had lots going for me. I'm traveling,
I was literally
working.
going to say, you used it as a kind of probably a leaping board or a stepping board just to get your social media up, a little bit more awareness, a bit more spotlight on you for your kickboxing.
Well,
not
to be honest, not really, because it didn't really help me. Like it didn't help me get any more sponsors or fights or anything, because I was already, like, without trying to sound I was already world champion. I was already at the top of my game. I was already being flown all the way around the world to fight, 3 or 4 times a year. So I never let it affect who I was or how I treat people or what I do. I just went back to my normal life and I kept fighting and kept training, and my goals were exactly the same. My morals were exactly the same. But you can't say that for everyone that goes on that.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Now, you're probably a different kind of personality that they're used to be honest. How long do you plan to fight for? Is there an after game, like an after fighting plan for yourself?
There's an after fighting plan, but I don't really know how long I'm going to fighting. It's a hard one to answer. For me, I'm a heavyweight, or I'm one below heavyweight, and I'm moving up to heavyweight. For us heavyweights, we don't mature until we're like 35 to 40.
Oh, dude, some of the heavyweights who, if you can stay uninjured, like, you could be your best at 40.
Exactly.
Between 40 and 45,
exactly.
Really.
Well, that's the thing. You have a look even in the UFC and in Glory, all the world champions in heavyweight, cruiserweight, they're like 37, 40 because we work off power, and you don't get your natural power until your late 30s, 40s. But then when you're a lightweight, featherweight, you work off speed, and you get your speed when you're young and in your youth. So,
and then you lose it when you're about 30, 35. That's
exactly.
Not a problem.
So all the champions in the light divisions are like 21, 25. So for me,
Are you light heavyweight?
I'm cruiserweight. So it's one before heavyweight, light heavyweight, then cruiserweight, then heavyweight.
Gotcha.
And I'm sort of working towards heavyweight.
92 kilos?
90, yeah.
90 kilos.
Yeah.
What's the next level? What's the next weight up?
I think it's like above 93.
Would that be somewhere you're looking to go to? Or
Eventually. Like, who does? I want to be a heavyweight. I don't know why. I'd be a small heavyweight before I go on. But that comes later. But in the plan of like retiring, I don't know. I don't really want to fight any later than 32, because then it starts to just. When you're a fighter, your quality of life is pretty low. You can't go out with your friends very much. You can't eat too much food. You can't party. You can't really travel much unless you're fighting. Your quality of life is pretty right. You can't even work too much or earn a good income because all you're doing is training and fighting, right? So your quality of life is pretty low, and I don't want to continue that life and have a low quality of life into my 30s and 40s. So 31, 32, that's it. I'm done. I go out, I do business, I get rich, and I achieve all my other goals. That's enough for me.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It comes into my next question. Like, there's a lot of complaining overseas, particularly with the UFC, with fighter pay, and how they're just not getting enough compared to, say, boxing in general. Like, you have to pretty much be like the absolute cream of the crop UFC person to actually get like a good enough, or what would be classed as an elite paycheck.
Pay. Yeah.
What's your experience been, and is the Australian market any different?
Everyone says this. Everyone's like, oh, why don't you go to boxing? There's more money. Why don't you go to UFC? There's more money. But there's only like... It applies to everything. If you have a look at boxers, 99% of fighters in boxing are making money. Same with the UFC, 99% have a side job.
People go to the Olympics for free.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Get paid.
Like most UFC fighters, for their first fight, are getting 5 to 10 grand for their fight. And it's like that for the first 5 or 6 fights until you make top 5, until you make a reputation for yourself, and people want to and watch you fight until you're like Conor McGregor, until you're world champion, then you get the big bucks. But most of these fighters in the UFC aren't making that very good money. Most of these boxers aren't actually making very good money. Until you get up there, you make a reputation. Except you're Floyd Mayweather, you're Devin Haney, you're all these famous people, Ryan Garcia, that people want to watch, and you make a personality yourself. They're not getting that much money. Even in Muay Thai, there's not much money, but if you can be funny, charismatic, outspoken, you've got a good Instagram, and you're posting funny and people want to know, like, they want to know you, but they also want to watch you, that's when you can get more pay. And I guess transitioning into kickboxing rather than Muay Thai, I've got a good reputation. Plus, I knock people out. People want to see me fight, so they're happy to pay more. So yeah, this stuff with like UFC fighters and boxers, people have this perception that they get paid more money. They don't, not unless you're the top.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I mean, it's a really hard job when you put it that way, because you're pretty much saying that, like, the way it's currently set up is that young boxers who are in their prime might have to do some of their most high risk work for almost no money.
Exactly.
And potentially get some pretty serious lifelong TBI.
Yeah. That's just the risk you got to take.
It's just part of the game.
It's just what you got to get,
Exactly right.
But yeah, all these boxers, when they make money, they're posting it all over social media.
Because they never had it. It's like a poor, because, and usually the people who are desperate enough to get into a high risk sport, which is low paying like boxing, usually come from like a poverty background where they're like getting punched in the head, 200 times a week is better than working in the
eating. Yeah,
is working at the factory and not being able to do what I got to do for my family.
But when you see these people in all these boxers or UFC fighters, they're posting that lavish lifestyle all over Instagram. That's the 1%. But when you have a look at all the other 95% that are not doing too well, or they're only making like 10 or 15 grand a fight, they're not posting about how broke they are. So that's why there's perception that boxers make money, because only the rich ones are posting about it.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that is exactly a reflection of the OnlyFans community. Yeah, is that people in normal society watch the news or the project, and they see they see the same 3 or 4 girls come up who are like, I'm making 50 grand a month, I'm making 100 grand a month, I'm making 2 million a year. Yeah, and everyone kind of thinks that everyone who does OnlyFans are millionaires, they're killing it. Yeah, and some are really doing.
There's so well. There's a lot of girls and guys just doing so well.
Yeah, there are, absolutely. Yeah. But for the 98%, they are doing really poorly. I think there was a statistic where it was like 90% of the OnlyFans community makes less than like $100 a month. Yeah, and then the rest.
Really.
So the
That's
top
not much.
The top 5% are making pretty much all the money. But also remember, during COVID, a lot of people made OnlyFans accounts, and I'm sure they just stopped using them or didn't use them at all. Yeah. I'm sure they posted on them for a week and they're just dead accounts now. So but my point is that it sounds very familiar.
You don't see it. The ones that again,
I think entertainment is probably a good blanket for that. In any entertainment, you're in fight entertainment, I'm in adult entertainment. But normal entertainment, like movies, if you're not a fucking cream of the crop.
Exactly.
If you're not Tom Cruise, you're not making 20 million a movie.
Exactly. No way.
Yeah, exactly.
But people only see that. But in the way of OnlyFans, even the guys and girls, if they're not making very much money, they'll all post about it. Making lots of money. And what the funny thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a huge guy on OnlyFans, but years ago when OnlyFans first came out, and all these girls are talking about, killing it and hustler and who run the world. Yeah, I'm working this much, and you could go onto a girl's Instagram, to her OnlyFans profile, and you could see how many subscribers she's got.
You could?
Yeah, so it obviously say like $10 a month, $15 a month, but at the top, it would say X amount of subscribers. So you go,
They've stopped doing that now.
Yeah, years ago. I'm talking like years and years ago. And so you would go onto their profile, all these girls raving about how much money they make on OnlyFans, but then you go onto you click the link and you go onto the page, and it would be like $10 a month, and it would say like 10 subscribers, or what, or 10 by 10, so you're making $100 a month. You're raving. Right. Yeah, but I don't know, maybe they didn't realize that you can see how many subscribers they had.
Well, I do. Well, maybe she was definitely lying, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there.
I've seen that. I saw that so much. I don't know. I know that was just how many subscribers they have, and they probably sell a whole heap of other, like the private stuff that they have upselling. But
I'll tell you that there were a lot of people making money back then, but there were also a lot of people who were pretending to make money. I think. Because there were
an excuse. They're pretending to make money as an excuse to do the wrong, not wrong thing, but do something that at the time it was brand new and not many people understood.
Maybe they were making money for a period of time. Things that people don't understand about OnlyFans, it actually takes an incredible amount of work, organization, and just it takes a lot of content and a lot of organization to be successful. So I think a lot of girls went on there during the COVID times, and that's when you could be successful doing virtually nothing. But then as it became more saturated, when people started taking it more seriously, all of a sudden the expectations from the consumer became more of a professional product. So the pick you took in the morning, every other morning is not enough anymore.
No, it's not. Especially when you're like other content creators coming into OnlyFans and they're using 4K videos and they're 100%. Having them properly edited and properly
they've got
filmed.
3 or 4 fully developed social medias that are all got like over 6 figures.
They're using X, TikTok, Instagram. They've got huge followings. They've got all the highest tech camera quality, cameras, and they've got editing and filmers. Your iPhone you're just filming yourself can sometimes not be enough to compete with that.
Absolutely. And well, mind you, right now, it probably is, because the iPhone is absolutely incredible. But most people don't. But like, most people aren't prepared when it comes to OnlyFans. They're not prepared to swallow this pill. It is a 60-hour-a-week job.
Really?
Period. So I don't give a how you're separating that time. If you have an assistant that does 30 hours and you do 30 hours.
See, I never would have thought that.
Dude, think of it this way. I post on Twitter, Instagram. I post on Instagram 2 or 3 times a day sometimes.
Do you?
I post on the rest once a day.
Is that like post or story?
No, I do 5, 6, 7, 8 stories a day. Plus I do 1 to 3 posts on Instagram. That's my main. And then I do 1 post a day on TikTok, Twitter, Reddit. I do 15 or 20 different Reddit pages, subreddits. Yep.
Are you just recycling all of the posts? So if you post it on Instagram, you post it and just repost on all of those. It's the same thing. You're just posting it across all the different apps. So
no, because Instagram and TikTok, I might do the same thing, but then Twitter is allowed more explicit. So I'll put a more explicit clip up that's different. Yeah. But then Reddit, I don't know if you know how Reddit works, but there is it's subreddits. So I might be in a group that's just, and then I'll be in a group that's like girls. I mean, like a job that's in another one that's like best head, whatever. And
you can post explicit content on Reddit?
Exactly. But then I'll be in one that's like style. So like the same thing I used for can't use the same clip for doggy style.
You have to mix it up. Yeah.
So it is very different. So like, but then you've got to be filming the content. You've got to be organizing, like doing this podcast and stuff. Like if you're having a real good crack at it, like there are some girls who are very lucky who can post like a
But that's the same in any industry, even sport.
Exactly. They can post a pic of their on Twitter and like
blows up.
And like a makeup tutorial on the Instagram, and for some reason they're extremely popular and good
just
for them.
Goes nuts, yeah.
But for the general person, if you're like part of the 90%, like I am honestly, like you need to be like extra, like you need to be, if you're part of the 99% who aren't like gifted in some way, you need to be 99% working for it.
So for someone like you, who obviously you're working 60 hours, you're doing all these social media platforms, how did you find that? Did you just have to find that yourself, or did you have someone to guide you?
Dude, I found it all myself. Well, I've obviously had people who you know, if I saw that you were really good at Reddit, I'd be like, hey dude, like just wondering if I have a coffee with you, just talk about Reddit, and they're like, yeah, sure, no worries. And I like get a few tips or whatever.
Okay.
But like for the most part, like I've learned through everyone does, through experience and sometimes not great experiences. So when I first started, I was using TikTok only, and I had like over 500,000 followers. Yeah. And then I lost that TikTok. It got deleted because I was like doing some OnlyFans on there.
Can you get it back though?
No, it's gone. It's gone forever.
Can't you get like those people who can get your accounts back?
They used to. I probably could have initially, but I didn't think it was worth the $3,000 to get it. If I could go back in time, I would do that instantly.
Yeah, 100%. So how many you got now?
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Cumulatively like 150,000.
Okay.
But but over time they've become a lot more strict. So it's actually the hardest platform to get traction on. Yeah. But back then, so where I was going with that is I lost TikTok, and then all of a sudden my inflow completely shut down. Yeah. So now I've got
starting again.
Yeah, I've got 4 or 5 different social medias instead of the one.
Yeah.
And I make sure I make sure I do them all. So even though they're all not as strong as one another, like my Instagram does like my main funnel, and then I get a little bit from Twitter, a little bit from FetLife, a little bit from Reddit, a little bit from
that way if you
Facebook.
lose one, you don't have to start at 0. You can at least start halfway or something.
100%, and that's it. So like if I lose one of those, any of those social media, even if I lose 2 of them, I'm at least able to maintain. I may not grow, but I won't lose.
Yeah.
So I think with business in general, like that is, whether you're doing any other kind of business, like having multiple income streams that are independent of each other is a great goal, is a great idea.
And having things in place, if shit does go down, at least you got backups and all that kind of stuff. Exactly. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, because you had to grow. Like you've been obviously on a bit of a journey over the last 5 years or however long you've been doing OnlyFans, and you've had to learn. You've had to contact the Reddit people and go and learn from them. Instagram people. You've had to try, learn how to go through the bad. Now you've lost your account. Now what to do, start from square one. You've got to go through all of that to obviously become where you are, and you probably I assume that you're quite successful at it. But a lot of people don't want to do that in any area. They don't want to go through the good and bad. They just think it's from here, hard work, and you get there. It's not.
Everyone wants a free ride. Everyone wants to hear someone's like autobiography and hear someone say, yeah, it just all kind of worked out for me.
It never happens like that. You talk to any, like, especially I've been listening to a few podcasts now, and it's never, it's always, I lost everything. Fucking, I was living the life, millions of dollars, then I lost it all.
That's usually where the magic happens.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
they're at rock bottom. Yeah. And normally it is like a success story to me is from what I've... The thing I'm noticing the most is that most success stories are stories of people running their nuts through like bloodied glass and vinegar for like 10 years straight before things pop off for them.
And then it finally works out for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what most people don't want to go through now.
Yep.
You know, and the problem, the grind. That's it. The problem nowadays is not even hard work, because it used to be nobody wants to work hard, but nowadays it's not about the hard work. Everyone's happy. Like, everyone works hard. You have a look at the hardest workers now: concreters, bricklayers. You got people who sit in an office for 12 hours a day. Like, everyone's working hard. It's overcoming losses. It's being consistent over a long period of time. It's learning new things. It's, reevaluating what you've done and learning and that kind of stuff. That's what no one wants to do.
It's the grinding every day. Like I have my mates, like I have a couple of mates, a couple of group chats where I've got a couple of lads. I think it's really important for men, by the way, where I'll just be like, what's up, boys? What are you up to today? And they'll tell me what they're doing. I'll tell them what I'm doing. They're like, what are you doing today? And I'm like, literally, today is just another cog in the machine.
Yeah.
Today is posting to social media. I've got a couple of things to film for social media. I've got a few things to schedule for my OnlyFans, and then I'm going to go to the gym and do my hard conditioning day before I prep my meals for the week.
Know what you got to do.
You know what I mean?
Have it written out in front of you. I saw you when I walked in. I saw you got a couple of whiteboards out there. Me too.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
So good.
Have your group chat with the boys. Hustle each other. And pump each other up, G each other up. You know, you got your board out there. You're literally looking at it. You know what you got to do. Just do it. Tick it all off. But
so
people these days, they've been with this hustle culture. They're so programmed to believe that hard work alone will get you there. Everyone wants to work hard. There's so much more to success nowadays. It's not just hard work. It's overcoming failure. It's self-evaluating. It's going through the hard times. It's everything.
Yep. So absolutely.
It's the whole lot. But
I'm getting jazzed up.
Let's go hit a gym session. I saw you got an ice bath there. Let's go jump in that.
No, get it, mate. Get it. Yeah. You said before that your life is pretty bland because of how heavy you're training and how you've got to make a lot of sacrifice to be able to have the success you've got, which is awesome. But what is your dating life when you're focused like an elite athlete? Yeah.
See, it all comes down to the girl. You know, as an athlete, especially a fighter, it can have its toll on relationships. And for me, in the past, it's had its toll, and it's unfortunately, it's not something that everyone understands. Now, this isn't just, for me, for example, this hasn't just been my past partner's fault that they haven't understood it. It's also been my fault because I haven't known how to deal with it and how to separate my fighting from my relationships so I can have a happy fight life and happy love life. So that's been my fault as well, and it's something I've learned over the years. Hard to balance, bro. It's hard to balance, especially for things like, for me personally, no abstaining before fights and all that kind of stuff. And if I'm on a strict diet, I can't take my partner out for a nice dinner. I can't go and socialize because I'm going to be that dead fish in the corner, not drinking. Yep. I can't go and do all these fun things because I'm so tired from training. I have to be up in the morning. I have to be in bed early and all this kind of stuff. That can take its toll on a relationship unless A, your partner understands it and accepts it and is happy to work with you on it, and B, you know how to, how to communicate that to them and how to work with them.
Which is actually hard to do when you're in an extreme calorie deficit like you are in camp.
When you're doing that, it can be super challenging for a relationship. So you both have to just have enough communication for you to both understand.
Yep, absolutely. And are you in a relationship right now?
I am. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. What are your thoughts on before fighting? You just touched on abstinence. What's the
so for every fighter is going to be different, right? Some fighters do it, some fighters don't. Some people do it for a long time. Some fighters don't do it all. For me personally, I do 6 weeks abstaining before a fight. No sex, no, absolutely no nothing. Again, that can play its part on taking its toll on a relationship. Now, the reason we do it, some fighters believe it, some fighters don't. It keeps your testosterone in, it keeps your anger in, it keeps your killer instinct in, which you need to have when you're fighting at a professional level. If you have with a girl and you go to the gym next day, you're going to feel slow, you're going to feel tired, you're not going to have that killer instinct, and straight away your trainer is going to be able to pick up on it. Especially in Thailand, they say, "Oh, look at you, boom boom, last night, why you doing it?" Yeah, and they know. And you lose that killer instinct. So for me, I do it not only for the biological effects that you feel stronger and it keeps your testosterone in. It's a bit of bro science for me. I don't know if it's actually proven or not.
Bro, you say that, but I actually injured my last year, mid-year, and I had to I took 31 days not touching it at all. Like, wasn't even really technically allowed to get a stiffy for the first 2 weeks.
That's hard.
It was hard, but literally. But I literally feel the same thing. Like, normally I would be like, abstinence, lame, but I literally, by the time 31 days was up, I was like, in the second half of the month, I felt stronger in the gym, focused. But I was also eating worse because I was like, I think I was eating more because I was making up for,
and I can understand that,
abstaining, so
but that's the one reason I do it is firstly for the
makes a difference though,
for the physical effects. You want to, but also for the psychological effects. If I know during a fight camp, if I'm single, if I know that I'm not doing anything, then I'm not going to be wasting time talking to girls, texting with girls, on dating apps, flirting, or this and that, trying to organize stuff. I know I'm just head down. So it stops you wasting time and it keeps all your focus in fight camp rather than texting and organizing meetups and going to see this girl, that girl late at night. I'm going to be out at 11 o'clock at night with a booty call with a girl rather than in bed early training.
It's virtually impossible to be single and super successful as a fighter because you're like, where do you, like, even being single trying to do what I'm doing, like, I don't have time for an hour and a half of texting someone on Tinder. I don't have or plus coffees and stuff. I just don't have time for it.
It'll happen naturally, though. Like, it'll happen. So that's, again, it can take its toll on a relationship, and you have to have somebody who's happy to work with that, and you also have to play your part in making it easy for that person. Obviously, I had a fight in December, so... me and my partner, 6 weeks, no nothing.
Oh, right, of course.
6 weeks, no nothing. Me and her, and obviously my partner is a lot younger than me, so she's got a high sex drive. That can obviously be a little bit hard for her, especially because I can't come to social things with her. She essentially doesn't have her partner most of the time. That can be a bit hard, but then you make up for it. After I had my fight, I came back, nice little payday. I took her away to Sydney for the weekend, and we just spared no expense. We go doing activities, and you have that time, of course, a lot of sex as well, to make up for lost time. So you just, for relationships, you have to balance it out, and you have to be willing to work with each other.
Absolutely. And I think that goes for any relationship in general, really. Like, you talk about anyone who's broken up, they're like, communication could have been better.
100%. Yeah.
This episode brought to you by My OnlyFans. It's an amateur's paradise. Hundreds of girls and me. Get 50% off your first month at www.onlyfans.com/theapolloshow.aus. See you there. Are there any habits that you do before a fight? Like when I used to play rugby, there was a guy who he never washed his football socks.
Okay.
He was like, you'd get to the grand final and he'd have these like...
And they'd stink?
They'd be dude. Like, they'd be like brown almost because he's like literally just throws them in his footy bag and then just waits till the next week to wear them. Like, do you have anything like that, which is like...
So we have a lot of traditions.
Ritual, I guess.
We have a lot of traditions in Muay Thai where, you go in, you say like a prayer before you get in the ring, and then you wear the mongkan, which at the back of the fights, your trainer will, again, say like a blessing in Thai. He'll put it on your head. It's like a headband. You go to the ring, then he'll say another one, and he'll take it off. You'll seal the ring, which means you walk around the ring.
I'm familiar with like,
with
it's
your
almost
hand
like a
on
dance,
the rope.
almost,
and you'll say like pay respects to each corner.
Yep.
And then you'll bow in the center of the ring, and you'll bless it, and you'll clear the spirits and all that from the ring from the previous fight. So there's a lot of that kind of tradition stuff.
Is there anything that you do personally though? Like
I do lots of little things, and I know that I'll fight best if I know I've done them.
Right. Okay.
Like there's so many. Don't
feel pressure to say them out loud if you think it's bad juju. But
it's not even that. I have a lot of little things that I like to do. Like I'll always go to church. Like I try to go as often as I can, but I'll always make sure I go before, because I always need to get the blessing from the priest at the church, things like that. For me, I'll always wear my cross because I'm a Catholic, so I'll always wear that to the ring, and then my trainer will say another little prayer before he takes it over, and my headband and my cross will hang from the ropes or the corner of the rope. Otherwise, just lots of cool little things that I do like that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man, have you got anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I don't know. Why don't we talk about, like, this is, I guess, coming from you being, why can't we talk about something to do with OnlyFans with you.
What do you want to know?
Okay, I've got 2 questions for you, kind of the same question.
Go on.
What is the biggest mistake that you've as an OnlyFans creator, what's the biggest mistake that you've noticed that girls make in bed?
I just like it when girls match my energy.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
like,
I think sexual energy is such a huge thing on whether or not it makes good. It's like
Definitely.
when you're between two people, it doesn't matter about how attracted you are to that person or anything. Like the sexual energy is so important.
So important. Like,
it's nuts.
I've had plenty of girls that I've met through work that I find incredibly attractive, and then I like kind of meet them and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about them, but we just don't have that clicking chemistry.
Yeah.
And the ones that we do, like, you can just tell, like, it transfers onto camera so well. And I don't even know how to explain it to you, because, like, if I was like thinking like, what do girls do right? I'm like, actually, I have a really good one. Like, what tells me it's going to be a great day or a bad day immediately is if you can kiss. If you
This is in real life or on camera?
Both.
Okay.
Like, I've met some, like, most OnlyFans girls are really good kissers, right? But like, some aren't. But I mean, like, in real life, I can tell, like, this is going to be a really average sexual experience if the girl can't kiss. Like, if you can't coordinate, kissing is like a dance. Like, if I'm tongue kissing you, like, and you can't coordinate your tongue to, like, massage and caress mine in the rhythm that I'm pacing for you, and vice versa. Like, I feel like that is a good indicator of like what your body awareness is going to be like during the act. So for me, if you're like, what's a good indicator? Like, what if a girl's going to be like great in bed or not? I'm like, your kissing ability. Like, if you're really good at, like, doing the dance, then I'm pretty confident this is going to be great.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to think of it. And I can agree with that 100%. The kissing will tell whether it's just, it's open and it's this and it's that, or if it's just a closed mouth kind of kiss and very closed off.
If I've ever dated you, like gone on a few dates with Tinder, and like on the last date we kissed and then I never called you again, that's probably what it is.
That's why. If you did, if Apollo ghosted you, it's because you don't know how to kiss.
That's right. It's a red flag.
Okay.
It's like I got to the point where I was like, look, I'm 9 from 9, like them being bad kisses and
9 from 9
and like terrible in the bedroom. So I was like, I'm just gonna like use that as a red flag from now on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's sexual chemistry as well, and the kissing, 2 huge things. But you can get girls who you might not be as attracted to. That might be, say, a 5 out of 10, and you'll have better sex with them if you've got good sexual energy than you would with a 10 out of 10.
I'm a big fan of girls who just love it. You know what I mean? Like,
just who can match it. Doesn't matter if it's hardcore or it's sensual and slow. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as your energies are matching.
Yes, absolutely. So true, dude.
Yeah.
So true. You got anything else for me?
Nah, that's pretty much it. I'm good. You want to know anything else?
No, man.
Epic.
Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
Just type in Jayden Eynaud Kickboxer on Instagram, or just Jayden Kickboxer. I'm pretty sure I'd be the only one.
Amazing. I'll put your details in the captions for this anyway.
Perfect.
So, mate, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thanks for having me, bro. It was a good chat.
Yeah.
Epic. Thanks, brother.
Cheers, bro.